Hello everyone. You probably know who a bodybuilder is, right? These are people who do everything, no matter how hard it is, to have their body in a perfect condition. There's nothing strange about that, and we've all seen them. But not everything is that simple. In today's video, we're going to show you the strangest and most amazing bodybuilders in the world. You probably haven't heard about them. So here are the 10 most unusual bodybuilders in the world. Let's get it on. Gunnar Anderson. Let's begin tonight's show by talking about this fella. In order to become a bodybuilder, he had to overcome several obstacles. Maybe you think everything seems okay, but take a closer look. Gunnar was born without his right pec major. Despite this peculiarity of his body, the young athlete began to train, and in our opinion, the result is pretty impressive. When Anderson was a little child, he was a thin little boy and was afraid of showing his body. But one beautiful day, he decided that it was the time to change, begin to gain some muscle, and after that, he asked the help of a professional trainer. The expert got down to business, created a special training program for Anderson, and started to control his nutrition. And look, the result is awesome. Right now, young Anderson is an online professional trainer and a qualified fitness expert. The young athlete has become an example and a source of aspiration to many people. So, are you still finding reasons and excuses not to go to the gym? Then take another look at this guy and understand one thing: you can get it if you really want to. Anton Kraft. It's not easy to be one of the strongest people on the planet, but it's even harder when you're only 4.3 feet tall. Nevertheless, Anton Kraft is not afraid of anything, and has proved to the world that if you have willpower, you can achieve anything, no matter how hard it seems. We're sure that there are not many famous dwarves in the bodybuilding world. Nevertheless, Kraft has reached great success in this area. He's the only person in the world who can lift 4 times his own weight. From that point of view, you could say that Anton is the strongest person in the world, but to reach such success, Kraft had to work pretty hard and be very ambitious. And now we know that the tenacity of purpose of this 52-year-old bodybuilder has also helped him with the ladies. Years ago, Kraft imposed himself one rule: the woman of his heart must be at least 1 foot taller than him. So right now, Anton is dating a woman called China Bell, who is 6.2 feet tall. Kraft has been in the bodybuilding business for 10 years now. In his weight category, Kraft owned several records, prizes, and achievements. For example, a world record in his bench press weight class. So take note, there is no limit to perfection. Blake Beckford. Bodybuilders take care of their appearance just as much as models, and any defect in their bodies can mean the end of their careers. But that's not always the case. So British bodybuilder Blake Beckford managed to keep training even after a part of his digestive system had to be removed and replaced by an outside device. In 2003, the bodybuilder found out that he had ulcerative colitis on his organism. He had to forget about training for his next competition. The problem was not only the physical load, but also the strict diet that forced him to change his nutrition. Soon after, the doctors decided that he had to undergo surgery in order to delete Blake's intestine and replace it with an ostomy pouching system. Despite all this, the athlete recovered and was soon training once again. Believe it or not, he trained as much as before and gained all the muscle he lost in the healing process. Moreover, Beckford started to participate in all kinds of competitions, winning prizes and all. We believe that this guy is an example that you can find a way out from any situation. Candice Armstrong. This young British girl doesn't look quite so girly. Candice Armstrong lives in London. She's 28 years old, and not so long ago, she was a cute blonde girl with a thin figure. At some moment of her life, she decided to practice bodybuilding, and for a better effect, she decided to use anabolic steroids. The result was immediate. Her hands were strong, her muscles were sculpted, and it was probably time to stop. But as often happens with bodybuilders, it wasn't enough for her. She continued to train, and more importantly, she continued to use steroids. As a result of this process, she got all covered in hair and her chest underwent a full transformation. Instead of boobs, she now has male pecs. Even the face of Candice changed and became manlier. And you know what the most interesting thing is? She doesn't regret the outcome because she wanted to become a man. She doesn't even want to stop taking steroids because she's afraid her skin will grow flabby and lose its masculinity. Viktor Konovalov. This man was a very successful contestant in all kinds of motorcycle races, but one time he got into a terrible accident. He broke his spine, and for most people that means the end of any training and any sport. But Viktor had been training all his life, and he categorically didn't want to lose his muscles, and the solution was to become a bodybuilder. His new hobby helped him to keep his former shape and also gave his life a new meaning. He didn't become a professional bodybuilder right away, of course. He spent 10 years simply training, not thinking about any competitions. But at some point, Viktor's friends told him he could try his luck in a bodybuilding contest. He wasn't sure, but at the end, he decided he had nothing to lose and entered the contest. And that was his first victory on this kind of competition. So Viktor's life is a vivid example that there are no obstacles in the path to triumph. Aditya Dev. This guy is the tiniest bodybuilder in the world, and his family and friends call him Romeo. He was only 33 inches tall, and his weight was 22 pounds. Fortunately, his dwarfism didn't affect the proportions of his body, so he could work really hard in the gym to make his body muscular and tough. He didn't go with the flow, and didn't let his inborn defects stop him from becoming a star. In spite of his small weight, he worked with 3.3-pound dumbbells. He was a regular guest on local TV channels, and in 2008, he made it into the Guinness Book of Records as the smallest bodybuilder in the world. Apart from his incredible moral courage, Aditya was famous as a talented dancer and a showman. Unfortunately, in 2013, this guy passed away, but he's still an example of how a strong spirit can defeat a weak body. Andreas Carling. This is a person that's really dedicated to his passion. He started exercising when he was really young, and he still amazes us. He's a grandpa already, and he keeps training. Besides, he has a lot of fans around the world, and people discuss him in the bodybuilding communities and social networks. Now he's a bearded, very active and modern 65-year-old man. At the age of 41, Andreas Carling finished his bodybuilding career and started his own business selling sports products. However, 5 years ago, the athlete decided to prove that he's still in good shape. He went onto the stage along with other veterans of this sport. And by the way, it's really surprising, Andreas Carling is a vegetarian, something quite rare in the bodybuilding world. Mark Smith. This man is a British Army veteran. In 2011, he suffered a serious leg injury in Afghanistan during battle action. After several attempts to save the leg, finally they had to amputate it. We think that this kind of tragedy would make most people give up. But as you've already guessed, this guy didn't lose his will to live and found his vocation in bodybuilding. It started after he got a book about training programs for disabled people. He started exercising vigorously, and after 5 months he participated in a competition for the first time. In a couple of years he became a real champion. Many of those who had a chance to be on the same podium say that Mark is a real Iron Man. The man has a phenomenal will to overcome the circumstances, and we totally agree. Mikhail Louvel. Just look at this. In spite of having only one arm, he's extremely well developed. Big muscles, nice proportions, symmetry. If it weren't for the missing arm, we wouldn't ever believe that anything terrible ever happened to him. In 1997, the man was in an accident and he was very long in a hospital bed because of his spinal fracture, and the poor arm suffered the most. Because of 6 complex fractures, the doctors couldn't save it. However, after he was sent home from the hospital, in only 4 months the bodybuilder started to go to the gym, and after some time, he started to participate in championships in Europe and the USA, where bodybuilding for the disabled is quite popular. That is some impressive moral strength, don't you think? Just Thomas. When you look at this guy, it's hard to imagine that he can do any physical exercise at all. With this kind of chest deformity, it seems like he's about to break in half, but no sir. This brave guy has an incredible spiritual strength and stamina because he goes to the gym all the time, records videos about his exercises and uploads them to the internet. This way he motivates other people to do great deeds. Thomas doesn't want any privileges for disabled persons. On the contrary, he wants to be a normal person and exercise equally with the others, and we think he's doing just fine.
Guys, check out our new channel Jelly Gummy Bear. Our Jelly Berry will entertain our young viewers with interesting experiments, exciting adventures, and funny stories.
Ouch.
Subscribe, it's going to be an interesting ride.
Nom 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 nom.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.